Just a family that's giving you something to talk about, or just live TV as I like to call it. I'm your host, Melissa Krechler. I'm an identity coach, business mentor, spiritual teacher, and creator and founder of Just Alive TV and the Women Supporting Women Can Network. And talking about women supporting women, we've got a little one in the background. So if anybody hears that little one, just know that women in business, which is one of the things we're talking about today, while we talk about, do you have the mindset of an entrepreneur? We're going to be getting into all the nitty-gritty details of what it's like to be an entrepreneur, the thoughts that run through our head, all of those different things that happen. And that's what we're going to be getting into today. Our sponsor for today is My Biz Fits Me. If you are wanting a little guidance to help you nail down what your business looks like for you, or if you want your most pressing questions about your business answered, go and sign up for their 911 Biz session. Use coupon code 911MyBiz to get $50 off and sign up for that. Find out what your business has to say for you. Get into that because your biz should be your way. All right, so I'm going to hand it over to my guest speaker today, Mackenzie. Mackenzie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. My name is Mackenzie Heflin. I am a mom, full-time stay-at-home mom and business owner. I help entrepreneurs leave the network marketing industry to start businesses of their own. I am from the network marketing industry myself, was in there for about 4 years until I decided to leave. And I have been a full-time business owner for 2 years now, and I'm so excited to be here today.
Absolutely. And you've got your little one, which is
Yes.
awesome. Mompreneurs, right? We've got to multitask.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I now have to change the time of the show from 2 p.m. Central Standard Time to 1 because I am now doing drop-off and pickups. So
fun times.
Have to do all that. Instead of paying for the school bus, I only live probably about maximum 5 minutes from the school.
Yeah, that's nice.
It makes sense that I just do it myself as a work from home mother. So absolutely. So today, like we said, we're going to be talking about the mindset of an entrepreneur. Now, you and I, while we were doing the pre-screening interview, we were talking about the mindset of business. So the fears of starting business, we were talking about what it really takes to create a business, the options, starting your own, going from MLM mindset or network marketing mindset to business mindset, because they are different. You're working for yourself. You have to figure out all of those ins and outs as an entrepreneur, and the fears that come with creating an entrepreneur. So one of the things that I wanted to mention today was the passion. So how do you know, and I'm going to answer this first, and I'm going to let you add on to that, is when I was thinking of the title for today's episode, do you have an entrepreneur mindset, right? And I'm thinking, what is the mindset of an entrepreneur, right? So I'm a business mentor. I have 6 businesses. I am an entrepreneur, a multi-passionate entrepreneur, right? And so I own My Biz Fits Me. And this is, I'm not promoting, I'm just explaining to everybody, the mindset behind why I created it. So me being in business for 6 years, I've worked with business coaches. I've worked with multiple people starting up my business, starting my website, all of those things. And during that time, every course that I took, it was, here's my system, replicate it. Here's what I do, replicate it, right? And even I did MLM for a little while. I was part of It Works for a little while, Gel Moment for a little while.
Love that. So is my mom.
And so I understood, and I kind of started off with that MLM thought process, right? Of, I just have to share it and people will buy it, right? And, the marketing. And it never worked for me. So in the last 6 years, I've looked at my business and I've looked at my businesses and I've thought, I never wanted to be a business coach. That wasn't my goal. But now I look at it and I'm like, how many of us get stuck trying to make our business fit somebody else's model, right? And I thought of the sisterhood of the traveling pants. And right, all of those girls fitting the same pair of pants, that doesn't work, right? Like that doesn't happen. And then I thought about my own jeans. Okay, if I have a size 18 jeans, I have to try on different pairs of jeans to find one that actually fits, because they're not all the same, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I created My Biz Fits Me because your business needs to fit you. It's not somebody else's representation. It's your self-expression. It's yours. So as I'm thinking about it today, I'm like, the mindset of an entrepreneur, one of the main symptoms of having an entrepreneur mindset is just being super passionate about something that you can't get it out of your head. It's never ending. You're constantly working at it. You're constantly thinking about it. You journal it, you dream board it, right? Whether you're in personal development, whether you're in business, it's an ideal that you have that you can change the world with your product or service. That is, and it's debilitating when you're not living that, because you're stuck thinking about it all the time. And as an entrepreneur, we do think about it all the time, even when we do start it, but you just can't get rid of it. And then every time you feel it, it's like, well, I should do something and I shouldn't do something. And then the fear hits. So for me, the biggest symptom is that passion, right? That I can't stop thinking about how this would help people.
Oh, I so relate to that. And honestly, when you said like the idea that we can change the world, like I think that, right? And I think that with my products, and I think so many people are kind of afraid of that at the same time, you know. And to be an entrepreneur, it's to have definitely that passion that you know you're going to change the world, you know you're going to change someone's life through it. And definitely, you know, when you were going back to things, business models, and trying to fit into somebody else's business model, or trying out all of these different ways. And I think that's why you said you were in network marketing too. And so you probably know, you're given a structure and a strategy and told to do it. And if it doesn't work, then you didn't try hard enough. And truthfully, I honestly believe that it has nothing to do with you like selling or marketing the product. Like if you don't have a passion, if your passion's not there, and there has to be some doubt in your mind, right, that says I am not going to be able to change the world with this product that I sell for somebody else through a company that I make $20 commissions in. Like doing your own thing and knowing that you've created a business with your blood and sweat and tears is truthfully going to be the thing that like pushes you over the edge, that truly can push through everything that comes your way, right? All of the no's, all of the hard days, all of the contracts that cancel on you, right? Like your passion has to be able to push you forward. And I really think that passion is like one of the biggest key factors in owning a business, and you owning 6 of them, right? And we can have different passions too. A lot of people don't believe that you can be passionate in multiple different things.
Oh my goodness, no. When I tell people that I own and run 6 businesses, now are they all successful all at the same time? No, right? Yeah. Some of them are new. I've been in business 6 years, and 2 of those businesses have been from the beginning. Or 3 of them have been from the beginning. And while they're okay, you mentioned before that when you're trying to sell something for somebody else and you're not successful at it, in MLM and network marketing, it's you're doing something wrong, right?
Yeah.
I've been in business 6 years. Have I seen the level of success that I envisioned for myself? No, I haven't. Now, I don't take that as a failure. I don't, and so we're segueing into another, entrepreneur mindset. I don't take that as a failure. I don't take that as I'm doing something wrong. I haven't shown up consistently. I know that. I own that, right? But I was also trying to do it everybody else's way.
Yeah.
When I created this show because for 2 reasons. Like for the viewers, I created the show because I wanted to give them something to talk about. I wanted to be able to share knowledge from myself and from my my guest speakers, and get them talking about things that we're not talking about enough, right? And that's one of the main reasons I created the show. The other one was because I like showing up in conversation. I realized that conversation for me is one of the most powerful tools I have. And when I have a conversation about something, people understand it. If I just go on and do random Facebook lives all by myself, I feel awkward. And I'm just like, every time I post, it's like, do I put a call to action in there? What look like freaking out, right? And so it's not just about being passionate about what you sell, right? It's how you sell it too, right?
Yeah.
We're not always going to sell the same way. There are going to be people who are going to post multiple times a day, every day. There are people who live on social media. There are people who, only post once a week. And all of that's fine as long as it's working for you and you're being consistent in what you believe, right? And that's part of an entrepreneur mindset. And right now we have so many business coaches, so many people out there saying, you have to do it this way. This is how I got successful. And while it will work for some, it won't work for all, because again, what is the famous quote that, if you want to judge my life and you want to tell me what to do, walk a mile in my shoes, right? My logo for My Biz Fits Me are shoes, walking like footprints, because I'm not going to walk the same. I'm not going to try to fit my size 11 feet into your size 7 shoe. I'm comfortable doing it, right? And yes, okay, we have to get out of our comfort zone as entrepreneurs, but again, my shoe size is not going to be yours. My jean size is not going to be yours. My passion and the way I express that is not going to be yours. So what does it look like for me as an entrepreneur? And I think that an entrepreneur mindset, right? Asking the question, do you see your future as an entrepreneur? What does that look like for you? How does it feel, right? And that's what my business is all about, is getting into your entrepreneur mindset and revealing your business, your marketing, your all of it based on what you need. And people aren't doing that enough.
No, and I think a huge problem as well is a lot of entrepreneurs will walk into the industry with, maybe an idea of what it's going to take to be successful based on somebody else's strategies, right? And then they do it and then it doesn't work, and then they think they're a failure because they've tried to do something else that wasn't going to work for them. And they don't take into account that there's a million different ways to run a business, to sell your products, to show up, to do whatever you need to do that fits, like, honestly, into your lifestyle, into even the way you're comfortable, right? Like running your business. If that is your talk shows, right, then it wouldn't make sense for you to write written content and that's your strategy, and like it's going to feel off. But so many entrepreneurs aren't willing to admit that they have to go figure out something, and they have to do it like on their own, sort of, right? Like figure out what honestly feels so good to you. And me, myself, I'm going through this right now with before. So I went full-time in my business before I even had my daughter, my kids. So I had a lot of time in my day to do business. And essentially my business was my baby. I put so much effort into it, right? I did the Facebook lives, I did my stories, I did the written content, I did everything that I thought it took to create a business, and it worked very well. And then I had my daughter, and everything flipped on its head, and I couldn't spend the time in my business that I wanted to anymore. And so essentially I've been spending the past year trying to figure out what it looks like to be an entrepreneur again. And so much mindset shifting into, like, at some points, when I just don't have the energy to write written content, but that's how I grew my business to 6 figures in the first place. And so now I just feel so drained. I can't write written content. I feel like I'm a failure, right? I feel like I need to go get a job at Starbucks because I just can't do this anymore, right? Like we've all been there. And so really having to sit down with myself again and just saying like, what is going to best fit into my energy to still be an entrepreneur and still be able to grind this out? Because I know, again, like, you know, as a business owner, we're changing lives. We're making an impact on the world. And I'm not going to give up, right? We need to figure it out. So I don't think enough entrepreneurs are doing that as well. And my life depends on it at this point. Like, this is my job. I love what I do. I love the freedom I have. And so I need to figure it out. And again, like, not enough entrepreneurs are willing to say that or willing to admit that they're at fault because I couldn't do it anymore. And I think that definitely has messed with my mindset too. And I don't know if you can relate to this, but I wasn't even into like mindset or journaling or shifting at all before I even walked into the entrepreneurial world. I didn't even know that was a thing that existed. So, did you?
Yes. So yes, I quite recently actually, because we're always learning and growing, right? When we have an entrepreneur mindset, we have a growth mindset. We're always thinking of new possibilities. We have an openness to different things. We think outside the box, right? It's when entrepreneurs get stuck in a box that stuff doesn't, and that's what it's being taught is box thinking. It's not outside of the box thinking. Okay, well, you want to run a business this way. How does that look for you? Right? It's no, you want me to tell you how it looks for me and do it for you, right? Sorry, one of my cats. But no, I quite recently, because again, we're always learning and growing. So I'm just going to give you my last 2 months. Okay. In June, I started having really bad issues with procrastination. I've always been a procrastinator, so I was procrastinating really badly to the point where I didn't want to do anything. And I stopped doing everything other than the show. I have a membership platform that I'm building that I've procrastinated, and it's supposed to be launched already. I have, my husband got injured. He dislocated and broke his ankle in 2 spots, and he's been at home for the last 10 weeks. So it's been dealing with that and figuring out how to work with him at home. And he wants my attention, and the kids have been home, and then birthdays. And so everything kind of compounded over the last 2 months. Yet in the last 2 months, I've realized that I can make it work. I can run 6 businesses consecutively all together, but I've also created a method that's going to revolutionize mental health. I am in the process of doing that. That's the wrong one. But anyway, I already have a folder that thick on, 7 books, 8 books for that one method. And it's all of these things, right? And I was talking to my daughter the other day, and I was doing a pre-screening interview this morning, and I finally owned it. And I think when you're an entrepreneur, having the mindset, we have so much self-doubt. Yeah. And we don't think about our own headspace. I vocally said twice in the last 24 hours that I don't know what it is. I don't know how it is, but I am a mindset and I'm a mental health and emotional genius. I absolutely am. It's not a conceit. I am a genius when it comes to, emotional and mental health. Mm-hmm. And I connect things that other people just don't see. And I can teach other people how to connect it for themselves. And so I was talking to my daughter about it, and she's like, Mom, why do you think that way? And I said, because I'm a freaking genius. Like, I don't know whether I'm borderline autistic or Asperger's or, I don't know how it came to be, but I am a mindset genius. And so for me, that worked in my favor, right? That's my number one business is mindset and identity and, our emotional and mental and physical well-being when it comes to our identity. So I did have an upper leg on that. But the lady I was talking to today, when you mentioned, did I deal with mindset before? Absolutely. And I went through a program, an anger management program once, and I think I did it through school. Mm-hmm. And I went through the book at later on in life. I've been through multiple different schoolings, but later on in life, I did one, and they had a workbook. And I'm looking through that workbook, and everything in that workbook, I'm already teaching. And I'm like, I didn't need to go to school to become a psychiatrist. I already have the knowledge. And that's why I said I'm a mental and emotional health expert, because I know already. I don't need to go to school. All of these people who, revolutionized. And that's the thing, as an entrepreneur mindset, look at all the things we've invented. Mm-hmm. Look at all the practices. Modern medicine as it is today was created by somebody who had the idea to create it. Mm-hmm. Right? Entrepreneurs have those ideas. Now you can sit there and go, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I'm not the right role model, or whatever, the self-doubt that's creeping in, because we all have it, right? I don't like to be on camera and video, yet I started a talk show. Right? We have to put ourselves out of our comfort zone, but we do have the genius in our passion.
Exactly. I think that's what it is. Honestly, I think a lot of people have the entrepreneurial gene in their body to want to create something for the time freedom, for the money freedom, for freedoms in general, to make the impact, to speak on stages one day and show off our products. And I think a lot of people, like I said, have this gene inside of them that is pushing them to do that, but they let either the self-doubt or the fear or the imposter syndrome get ahead of them. And that I was saying, I had no idea that mindset was a thing. I joined my first network marketing company when I was 18, and I thought I was just going to get handed, a list of strategies technically I was given a list of to-dos. And then you do it, and then it doesn't work. And then it's like, oh no, you actually need to work on your mindset before this. And I was like, what the heck? What's mindset? Right? I didn't know that I needed to take it further and actually work on myself and develop everything that I needed to bring out that passion and become a legit entrepreneur that's not willing to give up. Right? And I think, again, a lot of the fear and the imposter syndrome will get the best of people. It really will. And even with my friends and the people I surround myself with and the people that are wanting to get out of, network marketing, it's they join network marketing because they're an entrepreneur and they have those entrepreneur genes inside of them. But then we're almost in the company and it's this company is God, right? You're not allowed to go off and create your own thing. Why would you? If you leave, you're a quitter. You're never going to succumb to anything. You're never going to have real success. If you can't make a network marketing business work, how could you make your own business work?
Yeah, there's all that doubt in there, right? We do have a comment, and it kind of goes hand in hand with what you're talking about. So today, for our commenter, today we are talking about the mindset behind being an entrepreneur. But is it still important to write out a business plan as an entrepreneur, or do you see a business plan as a hindrance because it may encourage you to not move forward until everything is 100% in order? Those are some mindset F's right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Or mind fucks, as I like to call them, pardon my language. But with that, so what I do as a business mentor, I'm going to tell you what I do here is, number one, what is your business idea? What is your passion? What are you good at? What do you like to do? Right. And when we iron down your identity as an entrepreneur, right, your identity and the passion that you're bringing towards that. Ooh, sorry.
Cat fight.
Apparently. That's a first today. One of my cats is an a-hole, so we'll just ignore that. So it isn't a hindrance, and it can be and it can't be. So it depends how you look at it. If you look at it from the way that I do it, so my perspective is, what is your business? What do you love? Like, what do you want to create? What is your why? How are you going to bring this forward? And then we talk about what you're good at. We talk about the way that you can market, whether you want to create a business plan, whether you want to go through financing, so I'm in Canada rather than the US. So Mackenzie would be better with LLCs and talking about that. But for me, you don't have to register until you've reached a certain threshold. So that is a plus for Canadians. But with that being said, you can do that. Now, you can do a business plan and you can see it as a hindrance because that's asking for perfection. So it is a hindrance if you're only looking for perfection. You can start a business today without any cost, as long as you have internet, as long as you have a phone, as long as you have a computer or some way of getting on the internet to connect with people. I read a news article the other day of a teenager who spent $12, bought an extra long squeegee, bought some cleaner, and started washing people's windows and ended up making $400 a day.
I love that.
As a teen, right? And it was because he found something he was good at that he enjoyed doing, and now he's got a business of it and is making like $9,000 a month. Why not, right? Mm-hmm. So it's only a hindrance if you believe it is, right? I have a plan, right? I have a plan for my 8 books that I haven't written yet. I do have a plan for it. Now, while it isn't because I don't want to write them and I'm not ready to write them, I'm outlining them, I'm getting them ready, right? And it's like, I haven't had the passion yet. I have the passion. Sorry. I haven't had the inspiration yet to sit down and actually write it. My first book, I wrote in 7 hours.
Yeah.
I sat down, wrote it, couple interruptions. It was done in 7 hours. And then of course, editing and all that, but I wrote it in 7 hours because my headspace was, okay, I need to get this out.
Exactly.
To be written, right? And so 99% of the hindrances you find in being an entrepreneur or having an entrepreneur mindset or being a person in business is going to be your own. It's going to be your headspace. It's going to be your mindset, right? I've been in business 6 years. So if I had somebody, I've had years or months where I've been like, what is wrong with people? Why aren't they clicking this link? And it's like, well, they're not clicking the link because you're not sharing it enough.
Right.
Seeing it, right? So it just really all depends on what are you doing? I have, file folders of courses that I've taken from other business coaches. Well, why didn't those business coaches work for me? Because it wasn't what I needed and I didn't fully commit. Right? If you're ready to fully commit as an entrepreneur, you can create anything.
Exactly. And so I'll speak to the business planning as an overthinker, procrastinator, whatever, right? The idea of something for me sometimes can be so overwhelming that I'm so excited, but I shut down at the same time. So the idea of starting my own business, I had this idea for 6 months before I did anything about it. It was in the back of my head every single day. I was like, I want to start a business, right? Googling how to start a business and then just not doing anything because I thought, I had to go do my LLC. I had to create a website. I had to do a new Facebook group, a Facebook page, and everything.
And which one do you start first?
Exactly. It was so overwhelming. And to that, some advice maybe is if you are someone who needs to have all of that in order to begin, if you are someone that absolutely cannot think about starting a business without doing your legal, right? Without filing an LLC, depending on where you are, without getting contracts from lawyers in place or then do that, right? But you have to start somewhere. Allow that to be a part of your business plan. Get the LLC, get the whatever. And I just again, I'm in the United States. So there's a website called eFile. I literally just filed my LLC. It took 30 minutes. I'm in California. And again, but that took me 6 months to do because I didn't know where to start because it was so overwhelming. So if you need to do legal, do that. If you just honestly, a lot of my clients, they think they have to have the email marketing and they have to have a freebie funnel and they have to have, courses and whatever. I literally, after I decided to finally go ahead with it, I had one idea for a program. The time I got my first client, I hadn't even bought any contracts or set up anything yet, because I was like, I just need to do this. I just need to start posting. So definitely just moving forward with whatever that looks like for you, if that's getting confident, right, with posting and showing up and figuring out where you can be consistent at, and doing that in a way to build your confidence. I think a lot of people get ahead of themselves in the entrepreneur space because they see these business coaches that launch their business and they're a 6-figure business owner in 2 seconds, and like, oh my God, they just had their first $100,000 sales month. Like, it's so unrealistic. And allowing yourself time. That's like, we have so much time, and I have to remind myself of this quite often. And when you start comparing yourself to other entrepreneurs, like, firstly, they aren't walking in my shoes, right? We talked about the shoes, right? And we're all on our own journey to like get wherever we need to go. Like, it's not a race. There should be no rush. If you rush, you're going to hate yourself in 3 months because you're so burnt out from trying to do all the things and trying to spark the inspiration where it's not there, because everything's going to come on its own timeline. And again, entrepreneurs don't allow themselves to let time go. Like, just figure out what you love. And again, it's just that mindset, right? That we're an entrepreneur, we have grit, we have hustle. And like, yeah, while that's all true, you're also doing this because you're so passionate. And if you're so passionate, it's going to be something that's around in the next 5 to 10, 15 years. Where's the rush to get it done in the next 30 days?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Pick one thing. And yeah, I'm multi-passionate. Now, whether or not I merge all my businesses in the end, I haven't decided yet. With my new method, that might happen. But for now, I have the 6, right? And it's like, I didn't do all 6 at once. I pick one thing and I do it. And I pick another thing and I do it. And I know for my procrastination, it's overwhelmed. My procrastination is overwhelmed, not because I'm overwhelmed with everything that I have to do. It's I don't know where to start.
Exactly.
Right. And then when I go to start, something else comes up.
Yeah.
So that's usually mine, like my husband breaking his ankle, right? There's always, just a little bit something else that would change that. And an entrepreneur mindset, I'm going to talk from my own personal experience. I've been in business 6 years. Has it gone great at times? Has it gone great at not times? Yeah. Like, it's been up and down. I'm not going to lie, because I've switched. I've spent the last 6 years, and this is why I started my own business mentoring. I spent the last 6 years flipping in and out of all my different business ideas, trying to figure out which one worked for me, listening to this person and taking their advice, listening to this person, taking their advice, listening to this person. And I wasn't doing what I really wanted to.
Yeah.
I ended up doing an entire 360 when I started the show and went back to what I originally wanted to do. And I've noticed more success with that than anything else. And it's because I did what I wanted to do. I focused on the terminology I wanted to focus on, and I created a business that is going to skyrocket within the next 6 months. And it's because I kept going. So an entrepreneur mindset, one of the things of being an entrepreneur is never giving up. That doesn't mean you don't switch gears. That doesn't mean you say, okay, this one's not working, I don't like it, I'm going to throw that one out and I'm going to restart. It's knowing that what you want to do, being an entrepreneur, is more important to you than having a little bit of disappointment along the way.
Yeah, literally. You said it took 6 years, full circle back. And people are, I don't want to say people, but like we get into that mindset of like, okay, it hasn't happened for me. It's been 2 months. And it's like, again, where's the rush? Like it can take years.
That's marketing though.
I know.
Oh my goodness. 6 years ago, and it's still happening. When I first started, I remember being in this spiritual group and this other business group. Some of them are still there, some of them are not. But what ends up happening is 5K in 30 days or 30K in 5 days, whatever. Like the advertisements for get rich quick, if you do what I did. Yeah. That's literally what it says is I'll get you to where I am if you do what I did. And again, that doesn't work for everybody, right? You and I are completely individual people. Everybody watching, you're an individual being. You are unique. You do not have the same thoughts, the same beliefs, the same emotions, the same reactions and responses as anybody else. You are unique. Your business is an expression of your passion, your desires, what you love to do, what you don't love to do. Our business is here to work for us, not the other way around. Right? It's expression. Every one of my businesses, I get to express a different variation of my identity, right? As a talk show host, I never thought. I went to a concert in the early spring, late winter, early spring. And I went to this concert and I have massive stage fright. I am like, I will start sweating and I'll start crying and shaking for it, right? And I'll just it's like heart attack central. And so I went to this concert with my best friend and I'm sitting there and I'm in the 7th row from the stage and I'm sitting there and two very well-known individuals. I can't remember their names for the life of me right now, but one's a musician who huge named songs. Her and her husband wrote songs for some of the most top artists. And then Jay Leno's musician. Oh, what is his name? Anyway, so they were there. And I'm sitting there and they're talking on the stage and I'm like, I want to be on stage. I want to be there talking to all these people, right? Like holding events and conferences, being like Tony Robbins, standing on the huge stage going, you can change your life, right? And I sat back and I'm like, did I actually just think that I wanted to be on that stage? Like where did that come from, right? Because I am absolutely camera shy, video shy. My girlfriend last night, we went and celebrated my daughter's 8th birthday. And we're sitting at the kitchen table and I'm eating a cupcake and I'm just holding this chocolate cupcake and the icing's like super high. It's like my favorite cupcake. And she's like waiting to take a picture of me shoving this cupcake in my mouth. So I sat there and I'm like, don't, like, seriously. And then I just did it. Just like, I don't even care. Take the picture. I don't care. And being an entrepreneur, putting myself out there, doing the show, out of everything I've done, doing this show has opened me up to more capabilities of speaking, of engagement, of, showing up as my authentic self. So if you have an entrepreneur mindset, for anybody watching, and you're having that self-doubt and you're thinking, I'm passionate and I'm desperate to be an entrepreneur, but I'm scared and I'm afraid and I don't know, and imposter syndrome and all the things that we experience, we all experience those. Yeah. We all experience them. You are not alone. And it is okay. Don't feel shame. Don't feel guilt. Don't feel any of that if you do allow yourself to and acknowledge it. But remember, you're starting. Just make one step. Post a picture. Post a meme. Go live for like 2 seconds and go testing. Melissa told me to go live, like whatever it means. Tag me in your live. Do whatever it is that you need to do to take that first step. And like I said, even hashtag the show, hashtag, Mackenzie and I, and say, I took the first step, right? And let us support you. Let us help you, because being an entrepreneur is intensely gratifying.
Oh,
It
yeah.
doesn't have to be overwhelming. Now, Mackenzie's case is different because she became a mama after becoming an entrepreneur. And that is, I'm going to let you know, as an identity coach, when we get married, any of us, male or female, when we get married, it doesn't change our identity, but we feel like it does. Because we're taking on a new role. When we become an entrepreneur, we're taking on a new role. It makes us feel like our identity is changing. When we become a mom or a father, our identity feels like it's changing. It's not changing. You're just gravitating in a new direction that you need to incorporate into your own identity and your own life. Your life is your creation. Your business is your creation. Your child, for the time being, is your creation until they decide to create themselves. Right? And that's the thing. It's just finding, okay, now I've got a kid. What works for me? How does being an entrepreneur work with me being a wife and mother? How do I want this to look? Do I want to be working and constantly online, or do I want to schedule time for it? Do I want to, be on my hip doing a Facebook Live or a TikTok with my daughter on my hip and be like, I don't care. This is life. Like, I'm showing up authentically, right? And it's just figuring out what works for you.
You have to be willing to figure it out, though. As an entrepreneur, like, you just have to be willing. Like I said, the past year, I've been trying to figure it out, right? And finally, it's starting to come together. Finally, a year later, right? When I first started online, I had 300 Facebook friends. They were all people from high school. It was like my mom was the only one that commented on any of my stuff. As I started to grow, I lived in a studio apartment with my boyfriend at the time. I filmed stories for Facebook. My shower curtain was my backdrop, like, so unapologetically myself, because I didn't care, because I had a message to share and I was going to do it in my bathroom, sitting on my toilet, shower. Exactly. So, like, this is my daughter's nursery. Like, and you're allowed to let it be that simple. Like, you just have to figure it out for yourself as an entrepreneur and having that mindset. And I always say, for people that come to me and they're like, I want to start a business, I just don't know what I want to do. It's like, you're going to start a business. If you even have the question in your mind of, I want to start a business, I don't know what to do, I want to become an entrepreneur, I don't know what to sell, you're like 75% there. You have a product in mind, you have the passion, you have, what it's going to take. You just have to take the first step. I always say that.
Like us to kind of root around and go, what do you want to do?
Exactly. That's what it is. If you're already questioning it, it's there. It's there. Like, because you wouldn't be questioning it if it wasn't. Like, no one just says that, right? That's what it is.
Maybe once in a while, some people just say that for the shit of saying it.
I guess.
If you have the mindset of an entrepreneur, it does not go away. You do not forget the need. It took me, so I was a legal assistant / paralegal before my husband and I got married, shortly after we got married. And then we moved across the country. And when we moved across the country, I was like, I want my own business. It was already at that point where I was like, I want my own business. That was 12 years ago. Right? Exactly. So 12 years ago, almost 12 years ago, we moved. And during that time, it was like, what can I do? We were in a different province, in a different city. I came from a bigger city with more things and more opportunities. So I moved to the small town and I'm like, what could I start here? Since it's a smaller town, they don't have everything, right? And so I started thinking about it. It wasn't until 6 years later that I actually took the plunge and started my own business.
Love you. Hi, baby. Come here. Come here. No, and I feel like a lot of people get that idea, right? Like, how many people were kids running a lemonade stand, right? Like, it can start there. I'm not saying it most likely will start when you're like 7 years old, but you get like that taste of working hard for something and getting rewarded in usually it's money, right? Come here, baby. Come here. Walk to mommy. Come here.
Dad,
And I
going back to work.
yeah. And she just started walking like 4 days ago.
Oh, congratulations.
She's a big girl now.
Hello.
I think I started, I was summer going into freshman year of high school, and this was the thing, flower crowns were all the rage.
Yeah.
And I made my mom go to the craft store with me, pick up some flower crown stuff, and I was going to start creating them and making them and selling them. I was like 14. And I spent like weeks in the summer putting all these, together these little flower crowns and trying to sell them on Facebook. And I had one of my friends buy them. And then she ended up ghosting me, never coming to pick up her flower crown. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm done with this business, right? And then the next summer I started making candles. And it's like, I had that entrepreneur mindset. I was going to do something no matter what. I just needed to figure it out. I needed to have all of these different businesses, as a 13, 14-year-old to figure out that I loved being an entrepreneur. And again, I mean, if I would have stuck to a flower crown business, right? But like, you have to allow yourself to just go through it and experience things and keep going and let your businesses change and have fun with it, because not enough people do in their business, right? Because they're scared and they're afraid that they're going to fail. And you thrive as an individual, like when you're happy. And if your business is only causing you stress, you're going to end up hating your business as well. So like, just truly go into it, this mindset as like, my business is going to give me joy, and I'm going to figure out how it's going to give me joy. And you're just going to get to live all the freedoms after, you start doing it, because you're living in your true happiness.
Yep. Commitment. And you know what? It's the biggest mind struggles, or the biggest struggles that entrepreneurs face, are loneliness, because it is a lonely profession. Being a business owner can be very lonely. The imposter syndrome, the fear of being rejected or ridiculed by your family and friends who are like, oh, hey, you're psychic now. I actually had that happen to me, right? And yeah, so you get all these things, but at the end of the day, the joy that you find, and even the pride in yourself of knowing that even if you're making a difference to one person, the fact that you're making a difference in whatever it is that you're doing, if you're providing home care, if you're, talking, and I told my husband to start his own hard handyman business, because he loves doing random odd jobs. I was like, start your own handyman business for seniors.
Why not?
They love you.
Right?
Go do something for seniors that can't do it themselves and charge them like minimum wage. Who cares? Just right? Like, do something that you enjoy. And that's the thing. You have to enjoy what you're doing. It has to be part of your self-expression. And if you're doing it in a way that doesn't feel good to you, do it a different way. Yeah.
You have to be willing to have the grit to stick it out and figure it out. And I think most entrepreneurs do, right? They just get stuck in the, I'm never going to make this work. But then again, the next day they wake up and then they go try to figure it out again. So it's like, everything's a process, especially being an entrepreneur. Everything is a process. Everything takes time. Allow yourself the time to figure it out. Have the mindset that it will happen no matter what. And when you were saying like, go start a business, if it makes you happy, do it, whatever. Like, I can honestly say I would still be showing up and talking about the things that I'm talking about, even if I wasn't making money, even if I wasn't getting paid and signing clients. Like, this is something I'm so passionate about. I need to talk about it. I need to share it. And I do that through my free platforms, and I'm going to do it for free anyways, because I'm so passionate about it. Right. And so also be willing to not get paid. Do it for free. Find your passion through free stuff. Yeah.
The show.
Exactly.
I started a talk show. It doesn't cost any money to watch. Doesn't cost any money to be a guest unless you want to sponsor. If you want to promote, then it costs money. But again, it's allowing yourself to put yourself out there, right? Because a business is selling something, whether that's an offer, a product, or a service to someone else.
Yeah.
Right? So you need to know that a business is selling something to someone else, right? Salesman, car salesman, have to be sold the car. Whether you're privately selling it or selling it through a business, you're still selling it. Selling it is not gross. It is not sleazy.
Selling is so good. It's so fun.
As long as you're not cold DMing people. Now that is a personal opinion. I get cold DMs all the time. How are you doing? What do you do?
Happy birthday.
All over the internet. Yeah. Oh my goodness. The happy birthday ones. My birthday was 2 weeks ago, and the amount of birthday messages I got were amazing. Thank you to everybody who wished me a happy birthday. But the amount of messages that were followed up with, hey, for your birthday, I'm inviting you to my Facebook group for your birthday. I take this call, and I'm like, I don't want it. Thank you for the birthday wishes, and I appreciate and I thank you, but I don't want it. I don't want it. But yeah, the amount of promotion, sometimes and do what feels right for you. Now, if you're somebody who cold DMs and that feels right for you, absolutely keep doing it. I'm usually pretty good. I'll say, you know what, thanks, but I'm not really interested. Right? Mutual respect. But again, mutual respect.
Yeah. And again, it's just figuring out what feels good to you. That's like that needs to be like the main idea behind being an entrepreneur, because if you get into this thinking that her strategies are going to work for me and then they don't, and then I'm never going to be an entrepreneur, I have to quit, I'm never going to see success. And it's like the main thing of being an entrepreneur is you should just go figure it out yourself. Like, figure it out.
My Biz Fits. Our sponsor for today.
Exactly.
Is there anything you'd like to add before we get going?
No, this was amazing. I think this is a topic that a lot of entrepreneurs, new and old, need to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciated it.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, just a family. Today's episode has been sponsored by My Biz Fits Me, because your biz needs to fit you. You're not walking in my 11 shoes, and I'm sure as heck not walking in your 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 because I don't fit. So your business needs to fit you. It needs to work the way that you want it to. Check out My Biz Fits Me. Use coupon code 911MyBiz to get a session with me on exactly what your business needs, right? If you need a 911 biz to wake up, figure out what it is that you want, or if you need your burning questions answered, then just 911 my biz, right? Sign that up, link in the description. If you want to connect with either myself or Mackenzie, you can do so. Our links are in the description of this episode. We're always here to answer your questions. So follow us, follow, and share the show. Get involved if you'd like to be a guest on the show, or if you'd like to be a guest blogger for the show, absolutely reach out at justalivetv.com. You can find all 124 of our episodes on that website where you can watch and or listen. We are across multiple platforms and podcasting sites, so go and check us out. And again, I hope you guys all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where and when you're watching. Thanks a lot, Mackenzie.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.